right, good morning, everyone. My name is Emily Hopkins. I serve as the Director of Place and Main Street Macon Manager here at Newtown, Macon. We're really excited to have all of you today to join us in one of our first ever webinars that we're doing, how to set up an online shop. We thought this was a really timely topic in the wake of COVID-19 as everyone's trying to pivot and adjust to this temporary new normal. So we know that a lot of you have things that you need to sell and you need to continue to move during this time. So we wanted to provide a resource to all of you so that you could get your items online and have that digital component to your bricks and mortar store, which is important to have all the time, but especially during COVID-19. So we have some great presenters to talk you through that today and walk you through that process and give you some really good tips to build a really successful online store. So we are excited to bring all of this really great content to you this morning. But first, I wanted to give everyone a little introduction about Newtown, Macon. We have been leading the revitalization of downtown Macon since 1996. We're a nonprofit that focuses on downtown Macon, and our mission is to attract, leverage, and invest in the self-sustaining transformation of downtown Macon. And we do this in several different ways. We have a loan program for small businesses and real estate development. We do a lot of one-on-one coaching with businesses and our loan borrowers and do that technical assistance to build strong, healthy, sustainable businesses. We manage a downtown business improvement district. So we have a staff that's working daily to beautify downtown Macon through landscaping projects. They do a lot of day-to-day cleaning, like moving graffiti and pressure washing sidewalks. They do an incredible job of making our downtown really shine. And they also manage our nightlife security. We also host a lot of events. So we are the organization that puts on First Friday. We offer a monthly market. I think we have some vendors online with us today from that market. And we do a lot of other events in between. And finally, we also are the organization that coordinates the fundraising efforts for the Otmulgee Heritage Trail, and we manage a committee of public and private partners who are always moving the construction of the Otmulgee Heritage Trail forward. So if you want to learn more about us, be sure to check us out online at our website, newtownmacon.com. We'd also love for you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's how you can learn about really great opportunities like this webinar today and what we do as an organization and what downtown Macon has to offer. We're always trying to get more people down here and get more businesses open each day. Before I introduce our speakers, I want to go over a few housekeeping items. First, all of our participants, except for our presenters today, are muted. And so that's just so we can be sure that the presentation moves smoothly and we get all the information to you efficiently. But we also want you to ask lots of questions. So we will have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar once Erica Conley and Erica Neubauer finish their presentations. To participate in that, and if you have questions, you can go to the bottom of your screen and hover over chat. Click that and a box should pop up on your right-hand side where you can type your questions. So as Erica and Erica are going over different things, just feel free to shoot those out and I'll moderate questions at the end and ask whatever questions that you may have. And I encourage all of you to take advantage of this. Both of these presenters today are super knowledgeable and they have some great ideas and tips. So this is a perfect opportunity to get some of your questions answered from two people who are the very best at what they do. Secondly, we are going to be doing our presentation in slideshow mode today until we get to the Q&A. So if you have on your right-hand side some thumbnails of the videos that are showing, you might want to minimize those because it may interfere with some of the information that you'll see on the slides. That will be really helpful. So I'd encourage you to do that. And then I'll bring us back into video mode at the very end. And also bear with us. This is our first webinar that we've done of this type. So we tested everything yesterday and it went well. So hoping all of those things that we worked out yesterday happened today. But if we hit a few snags, just bear with us and have some patience because we're learning as we go. So with that, I will introduce our speakers. First, you're going to hear from Erica Conley. Erica is a digital marketing and social media consultant. Erica used to work for Newtown, so she's really familiar with downtown Macon and our small businesses and what their challenges and needs are. And she does an incredible job working with small businesses and coaching them and managing their social media accounts. If you want to see some of her work, Erica manages Newtown Macon's social or Instagram account, so you can see what she does. I think she does an incredible job for marketing downtown as a destination and getting the word out about what we do as an organization. And today she's going to cover how to really build that content or create that content that's going to make your online store a success. So things like product descriptions, good photos. She's going to go over some of the options or platforms that you have, platform options you have for your online store. Then we'll hear from Erica Neubauer, who is a graphic and web designer. Again, very talented. She does a great job. She makes beautiful graphics. We also work with Erica a lot. She has designed our annual report, our report of progress for the past couple of years, and she's working on a new website for Newtown Macon. So I am super excited about that. Cannot wait to get that live in the next couple of months. But both of these ladies are really incredible professionals. They are experts in what they do, and just want to encourage you again to take advantage of this time that you have with them to ask some questions once they get through their presentations. So with that, I will turn it over to Erica Conley and let you take it away.
Thanks, Emily. Okay, so you're probably thinking, or some of you are probably thinking, where do I even begin? So creating an online store and then uploading all of your products can seem like a really daunting task. So to help reduce some of that overwhelm, I recommend prioritizing the products that you upload. So I would begin with your best sellers and gift cards. Especially during this time, gift cards is just a really good product to sell online if you're not able to sell in person like we usually are. So I would focus on those two things first and then move on to products that you may already have images for. So sometimes when you work with other brands or you sell other brand products, they will provide you with professional photography of their products that you can then use in your marketing. And it's a good idea to go with those. That way it's just less steps for you and you can get them up quicker. And so then once you have those things up on the website, then you can start moving on to the rest of the product that you have. It just makes it, when you break it down like this, it makes it more manageable and a little less overwhelming. So definitely prioritize the products that you are uploading. All right, so when you start uploading your products, put some time into the product descriptions. You want to make sure that they're SEO friendly. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and that simply means that a search engine like Google will recognize your website or your product page when people are searching for something related to your product. And this will increase the traffic to your site and hopefully lead to more sales. So one of the first things you want to focus on is identifying your keyword. And here's an example of one of the products we have listed in the mock-up Newtown online store that Erica has created for today's demonstration. But to determine what your keyword is, you want to think about what a customer would type into a search engine when searching the internet for a product like yours. So whatever that phrase is that they type into the Google search bar, that is going to be your keyword. And you can see here, the keyword I have for this product, it's underlined in red. And you may think, wow, that is a really long keyword. And keywords can be more than one word. It can be a phrase. And the benefit of that is when you use something like I heart DT Mac enamel camper mug, yes, that's a long keyword. But what happens is you can always be recognized for smaller keywords within this keyword. So if somebody is searching for an enamel camper mug, we also increase our chance of showing up for that. Or if someone is Googling I Heart DT Mac, we increase our chance of our product popping up for that search as well. So long keywords are great. And there's 4 places you want to make sure that you're using your keyword throughout your product descriptions to increase the chance of you showing up in these search engine results. So your page title or your product name like this, your product description where you see that here, and then your alt tags and your meta description. And your alt tags and meta description, that's going to be on the back end, so you won't be able to see that here. But when you're uploading your product, you do have that feature. But definitely use the same one repeatedly. That way you increase your chances of being found. Okay, so now you want to look at the format of your product description. So the format you use carries a lot of weight. It's great. It's a great place to include additional keywords. I start with a conversational short paragraph. You'll see here. This is like you're talking to your friend. You're selling your product to somebody, letting them know what it's all about. But it's really good because you have this paragraph, you're able to include additional keywords that you may want to show up for in search results. But you're able to write this in your tone of voice. So make sure that you're writing it like you would an email or social media post to your customers. You want to be consistent with that. And so in this paragraph, you want to make sure that you explain what the product does or what its intended use is, and you really want to focus on the benefits of the product or how it can improve the customer's life. And then if you are already selling these products and you know that you always get the same set of questions about this particular product, go ahead and be proactive in addressing those right here in this section. That way you can clear up any uncertainty a customer may have and increase your chances of them following through with the purchase. All right, so sometimes people aren't going to have the time to read your entire product description, or they're going to be in a rush. So I recommend following the conversational paragraph with a list of product features or specs. So bullet points come in really handy here. You want to identify the quick facts that someone may be looking for when making a purchase decision. And you also want to add any special product features that you don't want overlooked. So you can see here that we include the size, the capacity, and then certain features like it's dishwasher safe. That's a good benefit. So make sure that if someone were to just glance at your product description, when they see those bullet points, your bullet points should be able to sell or influence the purchase decision. And a lot of times what happens is when people go to a product, what they'll do is they'll look at the picture first, then they jump down to the bullet points. And then if they like what they've seen and they're really convinced like, okay, I think I'm going to buy this, then they'll go up to the conversational paragraph. And that's when you have the opportunity to convince them to follow through and add it to their cart and purchase the product. All right, so 63% of customers think the product image is more important than the product description or reviews. So while your product description is super important, your product images carry a lot of weight too. So it's really important that you take the time to take good pictures. And the good news here is you don't have to have an expensive camera or editing software. I mean, those are great if you do have them, but it's not going to be the end of the world if you have the latest iPhone or a semi-newer iPhone. It doesn't have to be the latest, but a lot of times mobile phones take great pictures too. But I would recommend doing the 5 following things to ensure that you have great looking photos. First, you want to shoot in natural light. So avoid harsh direct light or shadows. A lot of times morning or afternoon light provide the best time because you don't have direct sunlight, and so your space can be really lit up, but you don't have those harsh shadows or your photos not bleached out with too much light. So you can either shoot outdoors or you can set up a little photo station next to a large window or door so you can get that natural light in. And if you don't want to be limited to the time that you have to take your pictures, or you just don't have access to that natural light, you may want to consider investing in a ring light. And you can find those on Amazon, and they range in the price range. I mean, there's some really inexpensive lens, and then you can have a whole professional kit. But you can find those, but they'll give you access to the perfect light at any time. All right, our second recommendation is choose a consistent surface to take your pictures on. So for a great looking shop, you want to make sure that all of your product images look cohesive. So if you've got a different color background for every picture that's on your shop, it's going to just look a little, it'll be unrelated. It may not be on brand, and it just doesn't look as professional. And you decrease the chance of someone wanting to continue to scroll and look through your products. So I highly recommend being consistent with that. A lot of times people will default to a white background, which is great because it's consistent, it's clean, and it really allows the product to shine and be the main focus of the picture, which is what you want. So to do this, you can use poster board, fabric, or even a textured contact paper. I like using those because you can roll it up. You don't have to stick it to something. You could, but you also can get it in a lot of different textures like wood or marble. Those are two neutrals that tend to work really well. Whatever you do choose, make sure that it doesn't distract from your product, and make sure it's aligned with your brand. And also, if you do choose to use fabric, iron that fabric because you don't want wrinkles behind your product. Number 3 is all product images should be taken using the same size and style. So again, just to keep a consistency in your shop, you want to make sure that you show each angle of the product and highlight product features and details, and then help the customer imagine what the product would look like in their life, but make sure that the proportions are similar, you're zoomed in the same amount, one picture isn't really big and the other one's small. You want it to be really consistent as you move through each product. And again, that's just going to help people continue to scroll through your shop and make you look more professional. Number 4 is probably one of my favorite tips. If you're taking pictures of things that may roll around or they're not staying in place while you're trying to take your picture, you can use sticky tack or even a penny. So like if you've got like a can or a cylinder type product, if you place a penny under it and balance it on top, it'll keep it from rolling or moving, and it won't be seen in the picture. So don't be afraid to do that, and it'll help your sanity. And then last, we have edit images consistently. And I can't stress this enough. I would really focus on the background and editing the background and making sure that it's clean and good, but avoid any edits that are going to make the product appear differently than it would in person. So you really want to pay special attention to the product colors so that you can give the customer a realistic expectation of what they are buying. All right, so we've covered how to sell your products. Now let's talk about where you're going to sell them. You have a ton of choices and it's very overwhelming, but the 2 types that we're going to focus on, and we've kind of broken down the options into these 2 categories, but the categories we have are online marketplaces, which are going to be places like Etsy, and then on-site e-commerce solutions like Shopify, or a site builder add-on like WooCommerce if you have a WordPress site. So we're going to start with online marketplace. So like I said, this is Etsy, eBay, Amazon. It's when you create a profile on somebody else's website and upload your products and product descriptions, and you sell through their website. And there are a couple advantages to this, right? So it's easy to get started and maintain. And then one of the biggest advantages is there's already a ton of visitors on those sites that make purchases on those sites and are familiar with it. So you already have that generated traffic coming to that site, which it's hard to generate traffic to your own site. So that is a really big advantage, but there are several disadvantages as well. So one, you're competing with a lot of other products to be seen. So while there is a lot of traffic to that website, you've got to work really hard to stand out and be seen amongst a ton of other products and products that could be very similar to yours. Another disadvantage, people may buy your products and never know your business or brand even exists. So a lot of times you'll hear someone say, oh yeah, I bought it on Etsy, instead of, oh yeah, I bought it from ABC store, or whatever your store name is called. They default to the marketplace and they know that they're shopping off Etsy versus they take the time to know who the seller is in their brand. It's just not as likely. And then you also can't build a customer list. A lot of these online marketplaces don't provide you with contact information for the people that are buying from you. So emails, phone numbers, that kind of thing. It really limits your ability to remarket and retain these customers. So the next category we have is on-site e-commerce solution, and that's a lot to take in. But what I'm talking about when I say that is I'm talking about the big players, the platforms like Shopify, Magento, and BigCommerce. And I'm also talking about site builder add-ons. So like WooCommerce and like Squarespace has an e-commerce add-on, and Wix, and I think a lot of the site builders have these add-ons that'll help you build out your e-commerce store. But we've kind of lumped them together for this presentation. And there's several advantages of this. So essentially, these live on your website instead of having to go to a third party. And the advantages of this, you're able to control your brand. So you can brand these pages where it looks seamless. It looks just like your website. They're in your brand colors, and it's very apparent it is yours. You're also able to own your customer list. So you get those emails. You can do email campaigns. You can nurture and retain those customers, which is really important because it's a lot harder and more expensive to gain a new customer than it is to have a repeat customer and have that customer loyalty. And you're not competing with any other brands on your website, so that's a very big advantage. You don't have to fight to be seen. And then it's easier for your current customers to find you online. So if you have a brick and mortar or you're going to these marketplaces and people know you exist, they may think, oh, I wonder if I can buy from them online, and they go to your website. And when they go to your website, they see, oh yeah, there's their shop. Versus if you are selling on Etsy or another marketplace, they would then have to figure out what marketplace it is that you're selling on. And anytime you give a customer these extra steps to take to find you, you risk losing them during that time and missing out on their sale. And there are a couple disadvantages to the on-site e-commerce solution. You're responsible for generating all of your own traffic to your site. So that just means you're gonna have to market yourself. You're gonna be responsible for sending people there and advocating for yourself. And then also another disadvantage is setup can be technical and rather time consuming. But the good news is today, Erica is gonna walk you through step by step some of the process. So this disadvantage won't be that big of a deal after this presentation. Okay, so like I said, you have a lot of options. Each business will need to determine which solution is right for them. It's not going to be a one-size-type-all scenario. So there are a few things you're going to want to consider when you're comparing the different options and different solutions that you have. The first thing I want you to do is know your objectives. So identify what it is that you need your online store to do for you when you're comparing these plans or these solutions. So for example, if you know you want to sell gift cards on your website, make sure that you're only comparing or considering plans that will allow you to do that, because not all of them will. So make sure you know what you need it to do for you. And then make sure the solution will be able to grow with your business. Make sure it's scalable. Look at how long the solution or the platform has been around. What kind of support do they offer? Are they reputable? will your business be able to grow and continue to use that solution like a year from now or 5 years from now? The last thing you want to do is put a ton of work into building out your online store and then realizing that you've outgrown it and you need to find a new platform that can give you what you need. So really make sure that you can scale it with your business. And then understand how customers will be able to engage with you. Does the solution allow you to send abandoned cart emails? Is customer support available? Are you able to track repeat customers? Make sure the solutions that you're considering, make sure they allow you to provide that customer experience you want your brand to offer. And then finally, look at the total cost. And I can't stress this enough. You have to really look at all the fine print, because what may look like the cheapest option at first glance may not be, it just changed. It may not be the cheapest option. It can quickly become expensive. So you want to make sure you're looking at all the expenses and factor those in. So there's going to be costs like building out the platform, ongoing development, maintenance fees, subscription costs, and then you also want to factor in the fees for transactions and processing and all of that. So not every plan is going to be upfront with the total cost, and a lot of times that cost you see with that option isn't the total cost. So make sure you're doing your homework and really figuring that out. So that's my portion, and now I'm going to hand it over to Erica, who's going to show you how to set up your actual store.
Thank you, and hi everyone. Erica Neubauer here. So like Erica said, there are a lot of e-commerce solutions and we don't have time to go through every single one. So we're just going to focus on two different ones right now. First, Shopify store, and also the Squarespace online e-commerce solution. And for these, we created a fictitious Newtown, Macon store complete with 4 products and descriptions and titles. So we'll look at those in a second. Okay, so Shopify is what we're starting with. There are 2 main ways that you can use Shopify, the regular Shopify and then what's called Shopify Lite. So Shopify is going to be for stores that don't already have an existing website, but also for businesses that have a website and just want to host their products on Shopify and link from their website to that shop. That would cost $29 a month. If you don't have your website and you are feeling like it is going to be way too much work trying to build a website and an online store at the same time, this may be the perfect option for you. Shopify websites can have more than just a shop page. You can have an about page, contact page. You can even have blog posts as well. And for those of you that have a website, you may not want to host your products on it because of limited monthly bandwidth or limited data storage. Or you may have some really specialized plugins on your website that you feel like would interfere with your shop products. So that would be a reason why you would just link from your website to your Shopify store. And that part is what we're going to demonstrate with the Newtown shop. Shopify Lite is for stores with an existing website who do want to host their products on their website, and they're using Shopify as the payment processor, essentially. This can work with any type of website. You can use Wix, Squarespace, WordPress, Weebly. You can just use an HTML site, anything that you can embed an HTML code on. Shopify Lite costs $9 a month, so that's a lot cheaper. So if you are comfortable copying and pasting embed codes and you know that you get decent amount of traffic to your site, this may be a good option for you. So let's go over how to set up a completely new Shopify account and online store. Head on over to shopify.com. In the top right corner, we clicked Start Your Free Trial. And on this screen, we just need to enter in our email and a password for our new account. And then we enter our store name. Notice if your store name is taken, it shows in red. Just keep typing until you find something not taken. Click Create Your Store. And on this screen, we're talking about selling. So we're an existing business, so we say, I'm selling, just not online. We want to launch our store now, so say I'm ready to go. How do you want to sell both online and in person? We have a brick and mortar store, and select your revenue. On this screen, we need to just put in our business details. So for Newtown, Macon, I'm putting in Emily's information and their business address. Down here, I'll enter the phone number and a website, which is optional. So adding our first product, you should follow Erica's tips for which products to prioritize and have on hand your photos, your descriptions, your titles, etc. Here, click Add Product. This is the Shopify Dashboard. And then type in your title with your keywords. I'm going to paste my description and make a few formatting changes. I'm making a link here to a size chart. And then I'm uploading a photo. Scroll down to enter the price. And then there's additional information you can add if you need to keep track of this for your business. This section is important, it's the variance. So we have 3 different sizes we're offering, so I need to type them in here: small, medium, and large. So everything looks good. I'm clicking Save. And it says, congratulations, you added your first product. So our next step is activating gift cards and then adding one as a product. These are added a little differently than a regular product, and I'll show you that now. This dashboard screen, you would click gift cards, and then it says sell gift cards to your products. You need to click the big button that says sell gift cards. This will only work when you sign up for a Shopify plan, not just the free trial. Once you click on that, it takes you to another screen that says edit product, because it automatically creates that first gift card for you. And you go and click on that button, and it takes you to a product screen that looks very similar to the one we just did. You can change the title, put a description, even do a photo of your gift card. And then there's a couple things that are different there that you need to select. You need to add it to a collection, which is just how you're going to display your products at the end. And then you need to manage your points of sale. So it'll bring up 2 options, online store and in person. We're clicking both because we want to sell gift cards both ways. So once you've saved that, then that's all you have to do to add gift cards. Okay, our next step is going to be customizing our shop page so that it matches our branding. This is a great opportunity to get out your brand guidelines if you have them, and make sure you have your web colors on hand, or just have a general sense of what colors go with your brand. Large section here, when you're on your Shopify dashboard, it says add theme or customize theme, and I just clicked on the default theme that they offer. Shopify has a number of free themes that you can explore, but I liked the default one. It was called Debut. And when you click on it, it just has a bunch of placeholder information and images, etc. So the first thing I did was add the Newtown logo up at the top, and I made it bigger. It was, the default size was way too small, so I just enlarged it. And then I got rid of the menu, which would sit in the middle here. but I wanted just a simple shop splash page. So I got rid of that. Then I scrolled down to an option where I could add a bar at the top giving an announcement. So my announcement is now offering gift cards, and it actually links to my gift card product. And I changed the color to match the Newtown branding. Going down on my page, the first section I added was the main image. So I used a Newtown Macon image, and then I added a headline and subtitle to it. And this is just additional information that I want my customers to know about my shop to make them feel more confident about it. And I made a button link that says view my products. From there, I scrolled down on the page and I deleted a number of sections because I just wanted, like I said, a very simple, minimal shop page. One section that I did keep was called featured collection. And that has that's where you're going to list your products. So I selected my collection, which was just called homepage. It's the one that's automatically created when you start adding products. They automatically add them to a collection called homepage. And then I renamed that section to say our products. I didn't want to call it featured collection. And you can format your products a little however you want. I had 4 in a row and we had 4 products, and that was perfect for me. Below that, I had another large image section similar to the one at the top where I used a stock image. And I got my stock image actually from Shopify. They have a big collection of free, royalty-free images that you can use that are really high quality, which is really handy. And you can add them right there on that customizing screen. So I used one of those and I added another headline and subtitle, as well as a button. And this time I was talking about my customers' financial information and how I handle that on my site. So I have a link to my privacy policy to give my customers confidence that I'm complying with all the appropriate standards for that. And then scrolling down on my page, I got rid of a couple more sections. There was one section about testimonials that I did not delete, but I hid it by clicking the little eyeball and it puts a line over it. So right now I'm not ready to enter that information, but I may have testimonials in the future. So I can come back to that section and add it later. Then at the bottom of my page, I have a footer and it had 2 sections in it. I deleted one of the sections. It was just quick links and I didn't want that. The other section was about our subscribe to our newsletter, and I just changed the wording of it to better fit the Newtown branding. And then I went to a different screen at the top. I'm still in the customize section, but I got to change some of my other settings for this page, and color was one thing I wanted to change. So my buttons were all a dark gray and I changed them to a Newtown Macon secondary color, which is the blue teal color. And also on that screen, I added in the social media links, which are our Facebook and Instagram. And then those pop up in the footer. And then I also added a favicon, which is the image you usually see at the top of your browser, a tiny little image that goes with your website URL. So that was all I added to make my shop look just how I wanted. After clicking save, we preview it by clicking at the top. They have a little phone icon that you can click on and it shows you what it would look like on somebody's cell phone. So this step is really important because a lot of people are buying things on cell phones. So you want to make sure that your shop looks good and is usable on a cell phone. And then you can go back to the Shopify dashboard and there's a section where your store is listed and there are pages there. You can see you can add your additional pages if you need to, if you have blog posts or if you just want to add an about page, etc. And then I also show you how to view your site live, well, sort of live for you. So our next step after we've customized our store and added all our products, etc., is the domain name that you are going to let your customers find you with. So you have 4 options with Shopify. The first option is to just buy a new domain name. So if you're setting up a completely new business website, this might be the best option for you. You can buy a domain name right there in Shopify. The second option is to transfer an existing domain name. So if you have shopnewtownmacon.com registered at GoDaddy, you can transfer it over to Shopify and they'll be the ones that are the registrar for it. So this is convenient for just billing purposes, administrative purposes. But with this option, you need to keep in mind that A, you will need access to your GoDaddy account. B, you'll need to make a few small technical changes. And C, it's not immediate. It does take about a week. Your third option is to connect an existing domain name. So again, we have Shopify, or we have shopnewtownmacon.com at GoDaddy, and we can point it to our Shopify site so that when people go to that domain, they see your site pop up. This is pretty easy, but it does require changing some name servers. And if that sounds too technical for you, you might want to stay away from that option. And then finally, the fourth option and the easiest option is to just use the Shopify free domain name, which is always going to be yourstore.myshopify.com. And like I said, you can just link to that. So that's what I'm showing in this next video. Yeah, on the Shopify dashboard, there's a section that says add domain or connect domain. Once you click on that, you'll see the 4 options that I was talking about. It will say connect, transfer, buy, and then it has your domain name listed. In our case, it's shopnewtown.myshopify.com. And I'm just copying that and going over to my WordPress dashboard and going to menus, and then I need to go to custom links, and then I'm pasting that into that field. And then I need to give it a name. So I'm just say shop. So once I've done that, I'm clicking add to my menu. If you scroll down, you see they always add it to the bottom. You scroll all the way up and you click save menu. And once that's done saving, you can go and view your website, and the shop should be listed up in your navigation. And if you click on that, it goes to your live shop. So 2 last things that I want you to make sure you don't forget. In order for customers to view your live site, you still need to do 2 things. If you haven't already done so, you need to be signing up for a Shopify plan. So you started off with a free trial, but you'll need to choose one of their plans. And we just signed up for the basic plan, and it had everything that we needed. Secondly, you'll need to disable passwords. So when you go to the shop URL, you can view it just fine. But if anyone else was to go to that page, they would have a screen pop up that says, enter password to view this store. So this is a good thing so that your customers don't stumble across your page before you're ready. But you definitely want to make sure that you remember to disable the password before you start promoting your site. And it's pretty clear on the Shopify dashboard. They have a button that just says disable password. Okay, so let's switch gears and go to setting up Squarespace. We chose Squarespace for this tutorial because we know that there are a number of downtown Macon businesses that are using it for their websites. And it's very easy to set up. For this demo, I'm using an existing Squarespace website, and I'm just adding products to it. So if you want to follow along on this, you'll need to be logged on to your Squarespace dashboard. So on the Squarespace dashboard, you click on Pages because you need to add a new page. So there's a little plus sign that you click to add a new page. And then the type of page will pop up, and you need to click Products. Now we haven't added any products yet, so that next screen will just say, no products, click here to add a product. We click there and it pops up with a dialog box. You add a photo, you put in your title, and then when you go to add the price, it brings up a whole new tab. On that section, you add the price on the first bar that's listed, and then to add sizes, you'll have to add a column. It's like a table. You'll have to add a column for sizes, and then under that, you'll add your 3 sizes. And so we were doing a fictitious t-shirt, and we had sizes. We had small, medium, and large. So that was the product in the video that I showed. Then you go back to the main item screen and you paste in your description. And after you've pasted that in, that product is done. You can just click save. The next thing you need to do is activate gift cards if that's what you're doing. So you can only use gift cards on Squarespace if you are selling with their Commerce Advanced plan, which is their most expensive plan. So we only signed up for a business Squarespace plan. So I didn't show adding gift cards, but if you are on that more expensive plan, you can just add them. There's a screen that says gift cards. When the products pop up, you can do physical product, digital product, or gift card, etc. Okay. So the next step for Squarespace is setting up payments, how you're going to get paid by Squarespace. So you have 2 options. You can either use Stripe or PayPal. There are pros and cons to each, and if you have trouble deciding, you can use both. I like to use Stripe personally because customers can use their credit cards right on your site and they don't need to create an account first. PayPal has been around for a long time and it is very widely recognized. So since both of these require a lot of financial and sensitive information, I don't actually set them all the way up in my videos, but I'll show you what the screens look like so that you can have that information on hand. So for Stripe, well, first let's go to the dashboard. And you had to go to Commerce and then Payments. And then here's the Stripe page. So they're asking for your address. They want to know what type of business it is, a business website, a business description. And a lot of these fields are required unless they say optional, or like the website is not required. And then you do have to have one person that you designate as like a contact person, and you will need the last 4 digits of their social for that. Then you can just say like, what's your company name that will appear on business statements. You put in bank account details, and then you create a Stripe account. So that's pretty easy. When you're done with all that, you click authorize access to this account. And then this is the PayPal screen. So it starts off very simple. You just enter in your email address. And then you just select your country on that screen. And then you enter details for a business account. So make up a password, enter in somebody's name and business name, address, and agree and continue. So that's as far as I'm going on the PayPal screen. I'm going to go back out of here to this page. I'm sorry, this is cut off a little on this side. So these would say connected here, connect Stripe or connect PayPal. And then we can quickly go look at our shop page. So I'm going back to pages, and my shop's down here. And then here's my products. And I don't think these images are going to load, but those are the 3 products that I added to my Squarespace store. Okay, so that's all I have for this tutorial. I'm going to hand it back over to Emily now for our Q&A session.
All right. Thank you so much, Erica. Thank you, both of you, for that awesome information and for handling this new novel experience for all of us. So we are going to move into our Q&A. So a few of you have already chatted some questions. So if you have those questions, again, you can just scroll down to your chat box. That's on the bottom of the screen. Just hover over the bottom of the video screen, and then it will pop up on the right-hand side, and you can type your questions there. So these ladies have a lot of expertise, so please take advantage of this opportunity to ask them questions. So we'll start with some questions from Scott. I know Scott Mitchell has been working tirelessly on his Squarespace store the past couple of days. So he has a few questions. So I think these are going to be for you, Erica Neubauer. So he said that when working in Squarespace, some of his pictures sometimes upload sideways, and he's having a hard time figuring out how to get them upright. Do you have any insight on that, Erica?
Well, I would say that when I have like technical difficulties like that, I always try to resolve it before I go to whatever I'm working on. In this case, it would be Squarespace. So I would bring up the image in an image editor first. I have Photoshop, but you can do it in a whole bunch of free apps where I would pull up the image and see if it's showing sideways there. If it is, I tilt it, I crop it. I try to force it to look exactly how I want it to look before I save it and export it, because sometimes that's the easiest solution rather than trying to get the website to pull up my image correctly. If that doesn't solve it, I would maybe want to talk to you, Scott, like individually for like how to troubleshoot past that step, if that makes sense.
All right, cool. Thank you. And then he said he wants people to be able to click on the picture in the listing and pull up the description. Is there a way to do that in Squarespace?
Okay, so do you mean like not the description that we just paste in the regular like product page? Do you mean like almost like a caption for the photo? I don't know if you can.
Yeah, Scott, did you hear that? I think it sounds like when you're clicking on it, when it like
so I have, like, let's say I have an item that has 8 different colors underneath it, or 8 different styles for one item. I list the item as, let's say, covered by Colby earrings, but there's 7 different styles. I have all the styles listed under style, then I have all the colors listed under color. Then I have an image that I put into Squarespace on the line that matches that color. So if, let's say, line 1 is red with silver.
I lost my audio.
Yeah, we lost. Hold on.
God, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh no, my audio disconnected for some reason.
Yeah, it disconnected, but I think I got the gist of what you were asking. So on the Squarespace product, dialog box, there was a section when I added sizes. I think that's where you could add more text that would describe the product more specifically, because you can add, it doesn't have to be a size, you could say color or style, and then under that you could just in the next box type in what that style is. And this is kind of hard to describe over Zoom, so I'd be happy to talk to you about that individually if that makes more sense, if that would be easier.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Erica.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Scott. All right, we have a question from Lush Art. Does Shopify also have gift certificate options? And with that, will it issue them a code that we can go add on their back end of their calendar, or will this only work on products listed in Shopify?
Okay, so you were interested in Shopify Lite, is that correct? Yeah. My understanding is that, and I looked at Shopify Lite a little bit, but I was mostly focusing on regular Shopify. My understanding is that it acts the exact same way as the regular Shopify. It's just a simpler you don't have the option to have an online store hosted at Shopify, and obviously cost less. But yes, my understanding is that you would be able to do gift cards the same way, and they do have a code that comes with them. And let's see, add them to the back end of our calendar. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you trying to integrate it with a different type of a calendar hosted with somewhere else?
Yes. So the thought process behind it, the way we sell them now is we sell them with a code. And then on the back end, we put that code for them to buy through our calendar so they can use that money towards that. I just wanted to know if it would give that so that we could have that, some sort of a code to put on the back end so they could use it everywhere, or if they'd only be able to use it on the items actually listed in Shopify.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I suspect that, yes, it would only work on Shopify products. That's what I suspect.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I want to go back to a question, or related to Scott's question about photo editing. So Erica Neubauer, you suggested editing the photo outside of the actual website itself or the tool that you're using. What are some recommendations y'all would have for editing photos? I know Erica Conley probably has some ideas about that as well.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, of course, Photoshop and Lightroom, if you have that on your computer, is great. But if you don't have access to that, or you don't want to pay for that option, you can do some on your cell phone with apps, free apps. There is a Lightroom mobile app that's great. If you want to make it even easier on yourself, I know a lot of you don't want to invest in that type of software. Canva, if you do it in the right dimensions, because the last thing you want to do is make it too small, and then when you upload it to your website, it's all grainy. But if you use Canva and you have Canva Pro, I think it's like $10 a month, you can now remove backgrounds from your images really easily. So that would be a really easy way to just remove the background altogether to make all of your images look cohesive. But again, yeah, I see Stephanie Gore on the chat said Lightroom. I definitely recommend Lightroom if you have that, especially if you want to have that consistent edit for each one. They have presets. If you use your mobile, you can do that, and then transport it to your computer.
Hey, I know there's a website that you can just remove the background from images as well.
Ooh, awesome.
It's called remove.bg.
Can you put it in the chat?
Yes.
Awesome.
I used it on a photo because I was bored and I was making something funny for my sister-in-law. So she was like doing an elbow stand in like a yoga pose, and I totally took out her background and put it on something else. So it works.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's great.
Yeah, and related to that, I know lots of businesses, especially when they're selling products that they don't make, or they're getting them from a wholesaler or whoever, a lot of times those folks will send stock photos of their products to businesses. So what would your recommendation be for mixing in those stock photos with pictures you're having to take yourself, or is there a good ratio, or how do you provide that consistency that you were talking about in your portion of the presentation?
Yeah, I definitely think it's great if you're able to get those pictures that are already professionally taken. It's less steps for you, but I would recommend looking at those images and making sure that they are aligned with your brand and the images that you're doing. So if you work mostly with brands that are giving you product photography with a clean white background, then you're good to go, because you just need to make sure that the pictures you're taking have that same background, white background, easiest. But again, if not, you could always remove the background and put it on white, or you can put it on a brand color, that kind of thing. But I would definitely, you can mix them in, just make sure that they look consistent and they don't stick out with your other pictures.
Awesome, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know a lot of people may not have a website up and they feel like maybe their only option is Etsy or one of those marketplace sites. Do y'all have some recommendations of ways that you can go around that? Maybe you don't have to use one of those marketplace sites to get a shop online if you're not committed to making a full-fledged website.
Do you want that, Erica, or do you want me to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where Shopify or even Squarespace are both really good options because they are going to give you a website and a store at the same time. So you don't have to worry about trying to develop one without the other. And, you know, I would say start small. Like, you don't need 50 pages to your website. If you get your shop page up, you have an about page, you have a contact page, you know, you're good to go. That's pretty much all you need. And then later down the line, those can grow with you. You can add a blog post. You can add, you know, more information as you need to. So yeah, both of those two options. And actually a lot of the other Wix or Weebly would work for that as well.
Awesome. So y'all have got lots of options out there if it's completely overwhelming to maybe build a WordPress site or something like that. But related to WordPress, is there a plugin that integrates with Shopify or Shopify Lite?
Yes. So WordPress is personally what I use for everything. I built my own store like that, and I use it for most of my clients. So if you have a WordPress site and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to, you know, set up with something else that can't integrate with it, the good news is that plugins are the answer to everything, right? So there is a plugin, it's called WP Shopify, and it integrates with Shopify Lite, so the $9 option. And basically, once you've created your products on the Shopify dashboard, you can insert them into your site via this plugin. They make it really easy for you. No cutting and pasting code. You just have to connect your Shopify account. And it's really seamless looking, and it's branded very well. So that's an easy and quick option. And yeah, WordPress is a good option if you are using it because it doesn't have the monthly fees that Shopify has, that Squarespace has. I mean, you pay for web hosting fees, and you always pay for credit card processing fees, but don't feel like if you have a WordPress site that you have to rush out and get rid of it and start over with some kind of e-commerce site like Shopify. So
awesome. And we just got a question related to that. Is there a plugin for Squarespace to put on a WordPress site?
That's a good question. I don't know of that right off the top of my head. I think because most people wouldn't use those two side by side, but I can look that up and get back to you if you're interested.
Yeah,
I think that's where you would use WooCommerce instead.
Mm-hmm. You want me to talk about WooCommerce at all?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I think there are some people here who do have WordPress sites. So if you want to briefly mention what that does and how to use it.
Yeah, so WooCommerce is what I use personally. It's a plugin that you use with WordPress, and it's free, which is awesome. Once you've installed it, it's pretty quick to set up. The only part that some people might stumble over is the payment processing. So you have a lot of options with WordPress, but I always use Stripe because I love Stripe. And I mentioned that before with Squarespace. So with WooCommerce and Stripe, you'll have to make a Stripe account on stripe.com. And then there's some technical parts that you have to enable webhooks, and then you have to enable some what they call secret key and live keys. And I think that's where we've gotten just past the level of a DIYer, and you're getting a little bit more advanced. But you know, there are tutorials out there if you feel adventurous, or you can find a web designer to help you with that. I know some pretty great people who would be good at that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think those are all of our questions. I'm gonna wrap things up if nobody else has any questions. So if you have them, please type them in the chat box. But just want to say thanks again to Erica Neubauer and Erica Conley for working on this webinar with us today. We reached out to them last week and asked if they could do this, and they said absolutely. They were more than willing to help. They understood why we wanted to put this together in the wake of COVID-19, so they're willing to kind of drop everything they had going on to work on this for us. So a huge thanks to them, for pulling all together this content, rolling with the punches. Like I said, we'll update this recording and get those Google slides out to y'all so that you can fully enjoy all of this information. And I hope all of you found it helpful. Newtown is continuing to work with our businesses through all of this. So if you have any feedback, if there's anything you need from us, or any content you'd like us to cover in future webinars that we're working on, please let us know and we'll see what we can do. You can always email me, emily@newtownmacon.com. And if you have any questions for these ladies, you can email those to me as well, or anything about what we talked about today. But thanks again to our presenters, and thanks to all of you for watching today. So with that, we will send this out and we'll see you some other time, hopefully in person soon.
Great, thanks, Emily.
Thanks.
Guys.
Bye.